Hello. Night before last, I watched Dune Part 2. It was awesome. It was amazing. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. For adaptations from book to film, this is one of the best. This is great. It had most of the core themes that Frank Herbert was trying to convey in his Dune series in this film. That's the long and short of it. So, if you're watching, still with me, from here on out there will be spoiler warning. Because I can't contain it. I need to let this out. And my review of Dune Part 2 is coming up now. Hey. Great movie. Great cinematography. My gosh, the landscape shots were stunning. And I like how Denis Villeneuve, some people thought the film was long, but for me, I had the slow burn and the slow connect the dots from the books. It was transferred well to this film. So yes! Build up of some of the things was amazing, which I'll touch on later on in this video. Let's start off with what I liked. Man, everyone was good. They got a very good cast in there. I admit I was apprehensive with Feyd-Rautha and the Emperor's character. Feyd-Rautha was played by Austin Butler, the Elvis guy, and I went, can he do it? Very good. He did very good. There was no hint of Elvis in Feyd-Rautha's voice. And then Christopher Walken as the Emperor. I was worried we were gonna get some Christopher Walken, but we didn't, thank goodness. He spoke like the rest of us English-speaking population. We didn't have any of those pauses from Christopher Walken. We just had him speaking as the Emperor of the known universe. I've also got my notes here to keep track of what I'm on about, so that was good. I liked those bits. Pop this here. There were 3 times in the movie where I chuckled. I really did. Oh my goodness. I mean, I read the book, so I was more open and relaxed to see what was going to happen. One of them was at the start. You had Stilgar, the Fremen, the Harkonnens coming in to attack them. Stilgar's giving instructions to everyone else except for Paul and Jessica. And he goes, stay here. And then goes away. And Paul and Jessica are looking at each other going, what? So they smartly moved out of the way from the Harkonnen attack. I'm going, that's interesting command you gave there, Stilgar. Second time I chuckled was you had the fight scene with Feyd-Rautha on his home planet, Giedi Prime, fighting the 3 Atreides soldiers. And then the Baron Harkonnen rolls up. I couldn't help but look at that and think for a moment, man, either Spaceballs or Star Wars. You got Jabba the Hutt or Pizza the Hutt rolling up going, gonna break something to start the race or start the fight. Goodness. Third one. I've seen so many memes about this now that I've just relaxed and said, okay, I'll open up to spoilers. Where Stilgar's talking to Paul, and he's telling him, you are the Messiah. And Paul's going, no, I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm just a normal person. It's all a mess. I immediately thought of Life of Brian by Monty Python. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Yeah, sounds all right. Oh, gosh. Now, let's go into people that were missing. That I thought they would keep, but kind of didn't. And it's 1.5 characters. One character completely omitted is Leto Jr. In the books, Chani and Paul have a baby. Baby's called Leto, named after his grandfather. And the reason why, when the Harkonnens are attacking the Fremen, it hurts them so much is because one of the sieges that they attack, Chani and Paul are all fighting, and their baby is at a siege. The Harkonnens attack the siege, and their firstborn son, dies. Bad. He's completely omitted, which, well, worked out quite well. I think in this adaptation, you didn't need him. Boom, out the way. Another character, this is the half I'm talking about, is Aaliyah. She's that unborn baby in Jessica's belly, the younger sister of Paul Atreides. Since she's not here, you see flashes of her. You see her, but she's not an active person yet. The lines that would have gone to her are transferred to other characters. For instance, when Paul is finally going to kill the Baron Harkonnen, he goes up and says, hello, grandfather, gets him. That was originally Aaliyah's line in the book. Another thing that was said was the Reverend Mother, when she kind of threw an insult at Paul, when he used the voice of the Reverend Mother at the end of the film, he said, quiet, and she got thrown back. She says abomination, which is incorrect. No. Paul Atreides had the Water of Life done when he'd already established himself. He knew himself, he had it, and opened up his mind. The abomination is actually Aaliyah. She has had the Water of Life. She has had her mind expanded from this high dosage of spice to where she's got everyone's memories within her, and she hasn't formed her own personality to fight them off yet. Was that a bit of a spoiler for later on? Yes, it was. So, the Reverend Mother used the wrong insult on the wrong person. Whatever. I'm sure they'll fix that in future films. Back to notes. That was removed. Passage of time here. I think it was tastefully done. I admit it was quite quick, but you're able to see how Lady Jessica, as time goes on, as Paul is learning about the Fremen, it's quite quick, because you see her belly grow. Leah hasn't been born yet, so what, that might have been 6, maybe 8 months that they're in the desert with the Fremen, and you see how Paul Atreides, the legend of the Lisan al-Gaib, is so embedded in Fremen culture, he'd just go, that's him! He's doing all the signs, that's him! In the books, it was a bit longer, because at this point, Aaliyah is a toddler, and out and about and talking and that. So it took a couple years to get there, which makes more sense, but I think it's a good reflection of the Fremen's religious fervor within the Dune universe, to show how quickly a little legend goes, boom, spreads like wildfire. Alright, let's stay on that religion topic here. I've got a note here. In the book, Dune, and the whole series, religion is of utmost importance. Let me start that again. Religion is of utmost importance to the Fremen. Their culture and religion are just intertwined with each other. It's very hard to take it apart. And that's why people like Lady Jessica with the Bene Gesserit, their Missionara Protectiva, their mission to protect humanity, they put seeds of this religion, so when they come in, they're welcome. They are accepted into any culture, any human culture that they're with, which is awesome. But backfires, as you will see. Hopefully. So, the religion's embedded in there. Where the character that kind of brings it out, and I think done quite well, is Chani, Zendaya's character. Chani comes out going, this is not right. This is just too much religion. It's used as control. Which, yes, it's out of character for Chani to do that. In the book, she goes, this is a Lisan al-Gaib. My job is to support him to bring paradise to the known universe and our home planet. But here, if you watch any interviews with Frank Herbert, his main reasoning for doing the Dune series was to show people and explain to them not to follow a charismatic leader, because it could lead you in the wrong direction. So, since we have a more modern audience who's not going to read, we're assuming we're not going to read the book because the film will come out. We'll adapt it for people who don't have time or maybe it's not their cup of tea to read all these books. Zendaya's portrayal of Chani and the direction that Denis Villeneuve has, I think, is a good modern day aspect. Going, come on, you're following the crowd. Anyone doing their own thinking? No. And that's the main message from Frank Herbert's interviews, what he wants out of his book series, to try and put it to people in a more digestible way. So, Chani and her direction in this movie, yes, not book accurate, but it's a more simple way to blurt it out for a more visual and movie audience, I think. So, not book accurate, but good for the overall message, which is why I like it. People might disagree with me, but that is my opinion. Next point. Let's go back to actors. I had this conversation with my sister, coffee yesterday, and she brought up a good point. She goes, I wonder why the Baron and then Feyd-Rautha have similar accents. And I went, I don't know if it was done purposefully or not, because Dave Bautista's character, he's got a standard yelling American accent. But in the book, the Baron Harkonnen is indeed a monster. Monster in more than one way. He does kill, he does murder, he does maim people and torture them and psychologically twist their minds and blackmail. But he also has perverse pleasures. Hold on to that. In the book, it's implied, but pretty much well stated, that the Baron and his dear nephew Feyd-Rautha regularly sleep together. So I wondered with my sister's comment, did Denis Villeneuve put this direction in to show how these two family members have been in close proximity for a while? How they're more closer than anyone else there, and he's been favoring this particular nephew, showing him how to run the Harkonnen household, so to say, and been very intimate with his nephew and vice versa. I wonder. I don't know if anyone's asked that yet in his interviews. I'm going to jump to spice and then move on from there, because in my previous video about Dune Part 1 and my concerns for this Dune Part 2 was the spice, because the spice must flow. Oops, he's got a little breeze here. The spice must flow. And here is where I went, huh? In this film. Because it is stated in Part 1, you need the spice for the guild to navigate and make space travel possible. In the book, everybody needs it. Everybody. Anybody who's anybody needs spice to function. It's got increases longevity, expands the mind, you're able to do massive calculations, and that's why the houses of the Landsraad that make up the Chom company, they want the spice to flow so they can keep it as well. So, two people go through the spice agony, Lady Jessica and Paul Atreides. Lady Jessica, she goes through it, and she's not, again, in my previous one, she's not this emotional wreck or reaching up to be the mother of the Kwisatz Haderach. She is a very well-trained Bene Gesserit. So in the book, when she rocks up and they go, we need a new Reverend Mother, which in the Fremen language is called Sayadina, they say, we need a new Reverend Mother. Can you do it? She says yes to survive, to keep herself and her son safe. So son, he can do what he can do, and she can be a Reverend Mother and guide and stay alive in the Fremen culture to get back at the bad guys. But she knows that if she goes through the spice agony, it will affect her baby. In the film, it seemed like she didn't know what was going to happen. She knows what's going to happen. She knew. And so did Paul. Paul also knows that if he has a high dose of the spice, he'll go through the spice agony and is able to open up fully prescient vision to see where humanity is going to go. Bum, bum. So, in the books, everyone needs it. If you don't have spice, you just won't function. You won't live as long as the rest of everyone else. You won't be able to keep up with some of the Mentats, the other houses, great houses of the Landsraad. You can't do it. So I'm going back here to where in this part 2, the Bene Gesserit said they have agents on Arrakis who are given information back to them, so they know what's happening on Arrakis. That's not in the book at all. But wouldn't the Bene Gesserit kind of know that if you take a high dose of spice, you can get prescient vision? So why would you need a male? Why wouldn't you just have the females open up their mind? Why would you just keep with the girls? Because, hey, that works better, right? They can control the girls better because you're a part of the family, I guess. It's the Bene Gesserit that will work with it. So if they know that that's what a high dose of spice does, why don't they ingest it and get the blue within blue eyes? Question for the film. And in the books, it is known that if you are a Bene Gesserit sister, to convert into a Reverend Mother, what do you have to do? Go through the spice agony. So the Reverend Mother in the films, how'd she get to do that Reverend Mother bit? Did she take enough spice to go, ooh, a little bit? So now Jessica's really, boom, over the top. And hey, at the end of the film, the Reverend Mother, Bene Gesserit, recognizes Jessica and goes, Reverend Mother. So I'm just confused. The spice, it's not just for the guild, and that's why everyone freaks out about it. Whatever. Here we're gonna go. I'm going to go into language now. The language that's used there, I kind of was going, I mean, I enjoy learning about languages and how they evolve and that. Just a hobby. Nothing serious. Don't ask me to speak any other language apart from English because it's a mess. When watching the film, I think it was well done explaining how you go English, and then as you go into the Fremen Society, you hear more of their language. Chakobsa. I'm 95% sure that's it. Chakobsa. We're speaking more of that. So, when Lady Jessica rocks up I mentioned this before, rocks up and becomes the Reverend Mother. The Fremen are calling her Reverend Mother. That is not a Fremen word for it. The Fremen word for a Reverend Mother is a Sayadina. Why didn't they use that? Huh. And it kind of elevates your status as well. Like, this is our Reverend Mother now, not someone else. You've become our Reverend Mother. You've got our Reverend Mother who gave her memories to you, the new Sayadina for the Fremen. Another bit is when Chani is coming up to see Paul when he took the water of life and now he's just comatose. She comes up, and what does she yell? She yells Paul. That is his off-world name. By this point of the film, Paul Atreides had been accepted into their tribe. And his tribe name is Usul. So people in his tribe can use that with him and go, Usul, you're part of our tribe. Usul. Everyone else can call him Muad'Dib. That's his name. And of course, everyone apart from that can call him by his other title that he gets known by as a Lizan al-Gaib. So she's coming up yelling Paul, and I'm going, well, he's got his tribe name. You're not using that. And also, you've been intimate with him. You care for him a lot. So she comes up yelling his foreign name and then speaking English to him. If you are in a moment of distress, would you really speak your foreign language or one that comes more naturally to you? And it had been established earlier on that Paul Atreides, he had a very good grasp of the Fremen language. He's speaking it more. So why wouldn't, if on a basic level, that's how you get to know the language better, why wouldn't she go, oh my goodness, what's wrong with you? But in Fremen. I think it would have made more sense if she spoke to Paul using his tribe name, Usul, and then using the Fremen language. And then when she whips around to Lady Jessica, using English on her because, of course, she's angry. And then that's also kind of distancing herself from Jessica and just using language. Talking to Usul in her native tongue to him, looks at her and goes, you are the foreigner. I will not speak to you in my language so you understand how angry I am. What did you do to him? Those are my quips about languages. Now this came out of nowhere. If you watch the films or read the books, the Fremen culture is based on the Middle East, Arabic area. I don't know if I'm using the right words, but you see them. Of course, they've got the covering themselves from the sun. They're kind of nomadic, going out in there. It's based on culture from that area of the planet. I didn't expect there to be mention of jinns. Where is it? Stilgar is talking to Paul Atreides, saying, okay, you want to be a Fremen, you just gotta go walk there and walk back. Here's some food. Watch out for the jinns. Now, I did have my girl next to me go, what's a jinn? And I went, oh, they're just like spirits. They can be good or bad. Just still spirits going, hey, come over here. Hey, come over there. It's just on another level of existence. I wouldn't call them angels. They're just kind of wisps of spirit. And if I remember correctly, they're formed by a flameless fire. They're formed from the smoke of a flameless fire. It's been a while since I read up on them. I was just surprised hearing, a jinn, cool. Now, what confused me, they brought this up, which is not in the books. And I went, ooh, what's going to happen here? Will there be a callback? And I don't think there was. I'm going up in inflection. I don't think there was. Because when later on in the film, Paul Atreides is going, oh, I got to think about this. How am I gonna see what's ahead of me? I got to go through the spice agony. And oopsies, there's a hair on me. And then he goes up to the desert to contemplate. And for some reason, he's asking Jamis, the guy that he kind of saw and then murdered. He's asking an acquaintance, basically, hey, can you help me? I thought, was that supposed to be the jinns talking to him? Because if it was, it didn't seem like it. It just seemed like, hey, I'm going to talk to this acquaintance going, what do you think? So I don't know. I don't know you, man. That's interesting. So they brought up jinns and then there's no connection. I went, oh, okay, all right. If it was, I think it was poorly done in that way. Now, enough of this complaining. Let's go to some of the fun stuff that I liked it. I don't know about you. Not in any particular order. 3 of my favorite scenes here was Lady Fenring. Man, she dominated the screen. I love her. The actress, I know she's French. She's been in some other films. Very nice. She looks cute, but a sexy cute. Like, she's cute, but still kind of sexy. I don't know how to explain it. I think that's the kind of beauty that I would love to aspire to. So she comes on the scene, and I did the review, or my concerns review, a week or so back, and I used a quote from the book, Plans Within Plans. I was very happy to see that Lady Fenring uses that plans within plans, because One of the Atreides fighters is not drugged. She uses that. But the scene that I really enjoyed was a great example of show, not tell. And that was how she seduced Feyd-Rautha. She rocks up. He's going, you following me? And she goes, nope. Talks normal for a minute. Then the audio changes and you go, she's using the voice on him. Next minute, poof. Now at the guest quarters, he's going, well, hello. Okay. So then she tests him to make sure he is human indeed. And then when she's at the meeting with the, what's her name? Prince Irulan and the Reverend Mother Gaius Mohiam, she tells her, yep, and the bloodline is secure just by placing her hands on her stomach. Perfect. You know what she did. Didn't have to be shown or anything. Boom, baby. Boom. Excellent. Very well done. Next one. Riding the worm. In the book, their stakes were pretty high because at this point, part of where Paul's decision to take the water of life was done when just before he's riding the worm, because he had the prescient vision where he could see up to a point. Then he gets up to get on the worm, and then all of a sudden he goes, I do not know what's going to happen after I ride this worm. I can't see. I cannot see past this point in my timeline. Will he survive? Will he die? Will he get maimed by a massive worm? He doesn't know. And that's when, after the worm riding scene, that's when he goes, I'll take the water of life. In the film, oh, very well done. Very well done. You haven't seen before where Stilgar's riding a worm. You're going, I didn't know you could do that. And then him building it up. The build-up was slow, concise, and of course Stilgar going, he's got a big one. It's coming. And how it crashes through. Oh, it was beautifully done. Denis Villeneuve. Oh, so good. And also showing that it's not easy to ride a big sandworm. You have to hold on, you have to flip over, and then work the reins. Of course, they don't show you how you get off. I can't really imagine how you do that. Big ass worm. Can't imagine it, but it was very well done. I'm like, yes! My last scene that I really, really, really enjoyed was the Fremen attack on the Emperor's palace on Arrakis. When I read books, I'm thinking about strategies and where things are. It's not my thing. When battles are going on, I'm going, oh, just who wins? Just tell me. The flanking, this movement, I can't. I really find it challenging to process in my brain. I need something visual or to draw it out and go, they went here, there. Got it, we won. So I was really happy to see it played out with how they're going to attack, because in the book you're going, they got worms. How does the worms get there? And finally seeing it, making it digestible for me, I went, oh, that's so cool. That's cool. Very well done. Explosive atomics. I went, how would they work that? Oh, that's how they do it. The worms rocking up. Oh, okay. And how they take everybody out. Awesome. Beautiful. I like it. So for Dune Part 2, awesome movie. Part 1 and Part 2 combined as a faithful adaptation. Yeah, but it is getting that overall message from Frank Herbert. So I'd say yes, Dune Part 1 and 2 is a good adaptation from the book in a Dune series. Part 3 is coming out. We don't know when, but they've said, yes, you can do a Part 3. I'm just curious about where they're going to pick up, because the movie ends on a cliffhanger, but so does the book. So I wonder, will they just do something here as a connector to another film for the rest of the books? I don't know. Well, we'll have to find out and see, won't we? Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video.